What is up, guys? The
What's
gang's all here.
Hey.
It's the first time in a while.
What's going on? What's going on, boys? Everybody's
Chilling.
here. This is great.
Yeah.
Got my coffee.
Yeah.
How about you boys?
Got my
Season
coffee.
3.
Big
Yeah, I
Big
got coffee.
Drank my orange
Ashamed that I paid money for it.
I got water.
I'm out of
Wait a
That's it.
second. Time out. Rumsey,
What?
what is that?
Scooters.
Oh,
Scooters.
how dare you, bro?
Oh no.
I know.
Starbucks is the way.
I'm ashamed of myself.
That is
Oh my
the
God.
Starbucks cup with Starbucks pumpkin spice creamer in my coffee. So Starbucks is the way.
Randy's mug's the best.
Just know,
Yeah, I
dude, I
agree.
can go fill this cup up with dirty mud water outside at the lake, and it would be better than the coffee you're drinking from Scooters.
Have you seen
Oh, that's
that
nasty.
mud water stuff? Like the advertisements
Yeah, I
advertisements
bet
for
that
mud
tastes
water?
better than Scooters too.
No, dude. That
But I'm saying literal
That's
mud
trash.
probably tastes better than Scooters coffee. Anyway,
Anywho,
1 year.
You're not
this
wrong.
is it.
This
This
is
is what
it.
we've learned.
52 episodes.
Let's go, boys.
Oh
Let's go.
man.
And if
52.
if anybody wants to know who hasn't figured out on their own why that's significant, 52 marks 1 year of recording. Weeks wise, we're like 1 week off, I guess technically, if you're going exactly to a year. But hey, not that bad.
It's not
But-
that bad.
I think we have all been through a lot in the past year. We've had new jobs, new homes, the good, the bad, the ugly.
The ugly,
Ah!
the ugly duckling.
Chris's face.
Oh.
But the thing is, we've all been here for each other through it, and it's been great. And for those of you who have been also with us since episode 1 for 1 year, number one, thank you. You guys are rock stars.
Yeah,
And
thank
number
you so
two,
much.
if you listen to our very first episode, which I'm gonna sort of recommend you do.
No.
Because it's not our
I
best
don't know.
work, but there's something to be said from it.
We come from humble beginnings. Come on.
Biggest lesson of the year.
But
Did
if
podcasting
you,
better.
Nice. But if you did listen to our first episode, you know that we talked about what we thought our biggest life lesson was so far. So now what we're speaking, words are hard.
1 year
what-
still can't speak.
Nope. What we are going to do for you guys here today is we're going to talk about what we have learned over the past year, whether that's about ourselves or just, anything in general, life lessons learned. That's what we're here for. So, I did the thing. Early on, too, organically at that.
Damn, knocking them all out.
Hell yeah,
Oh,
brother.
man.
So, yeah,
Hell
let's
yeah,
get this
brother.
thing going. Chris?
Biggest lessons learned, huh? I got to stew on this one for a second because I
I was
was
gonna
not
say you probably didn't
prepared
learn
for it.
anything.
No. Oof.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, my friend just literally came up to my door and he had to drop off a keyboard for me. I'm sorry.
Bro, your
Nice.
friend disappeared when Thanos snapped in the background there.
Yeah.
So.
That guy.
Just disappeared.
I didn't even notice.
That hoodie is just laid out perfectly is what they're referencing.
Yeah, I have one. I have a lesson. Managing calendars.
Ooh.
Damn
Yeah,
it,
that-
dude.
It took me almost a year. No, dude, you can talk about this too. It just,
No,
continue.
continue.
Yeah, but it took me almost a year to get. It took me almost 52 episodes to get the recording schedule down and everything.
Pretty sure he
What?
wasn't here last week, boys, was he?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if it took, maybe it took more than 52 weeks.
I don't
Wait-
think
wait-
any of
wait
us
a
have gotten the recording schedule down in 52 weeks, so.
Hold on a second. Why wasn't I there last week?
I don't remember.
If I recall, you were just busy because you got like overscheduled on that one day last minute.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah.
To be
So
fair, he's
my
not
fault. Come on.
To be fair.
Come on. Yeah, so managing calendars. I actually just got a calendar because I like writing things down. It works better for me than typing it in my phone. So I got a calendar whiteboard that I have downstairs, and I just put everything in it, even like reminders and stuff. So that helped a lot. yeah, but
Nice. Yeah, that's good. I think that's something we could all take away from, boys.
Yeah,
Calling it all
I've actually been pretty good with it. I've been putting everything in my phone, like pretty much everything. The only thing is, like, when it comes to work, there's a schedule for work, like online, which crashes half the time, so you forget what you had to do because you can't look at it. And then I have one on my phone, which is like really good with usually work stuff and then life stuff, and like I'm pretty good with that stuff. I put the times and locations and everything, so I enjoy doing that. But it is definitely better writing it. You're absolutely right, because then you don't forget.
You see, this is where it comes into play, like where we've talked about technology as a tool.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love as well, is putting things in my phone as, calendar dates with reminders and like where I have to be and when I have to be there. Because, life happens and you do forget stuff.
Yeah.
And then, if you get that pop-up notification, it's like, oh, shoot, I got to be here at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Like, good thing I saw that, because I would have never remembered.
Yeah, when it comes to time management, I think having a phone and just like other technologies is so much better, because yes, I prefer writing things down too, but if you're not by your whiteboard, or you don't have a pen on you, like what do you do? Because sometimes you just have something pop in your head and you can't write it down immediately. It's just like sometimes I'm just in, I don't know, my house, and it's just like, oh, I need to go do something, and I just say like, oh, hey, whatever big tech company, hey Google, I'm just gonna say it. I just say that and just tell it, set a reminder for me, and it just does it for me, and it just tells me on my phone when it actually happens too. So it just makes it nice and easy if you don't have a pen on you or something, or if you're somewhere else.
well, what you do is you write it in your phone, and then you go to your at-home calendar and write it in once you get the chance.
Smart.
I just think, it's not one or the other. I just
will
think
say
that's
something-
more powerful.
There is something about actually physically writing it that I think makes it set in more. So
You
I agree with that
materialize
too.
it.
Yeah.
Like you literally make it into being. It's just like, if it's in your head, it's just in your head. If it's in your phone, some people can't like associate a digital thing with being a physical thing. So I think like materializing it in words on something really helps people.
Kind of like the same concept of having how people use cash instead of card, because like it's an actual physical thing given away.
Yeah, you can associate it better.
Yeah. So figuring out that worked for me took way too long. I think I think a lot of it is how you're raised. Growing up, I never saw like a big calendar with everything written in or anything like that. So, Chris might be different. He might have grown up with, inputting everything in a calendar.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Nope. My mom was late for everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds
It all depends on the person too, how helpful that is, because like I remember being in like high school and middle school, people would have their little planners and they'd like write everything in it and be like, nerd, you have to write stuff down. It's just like, some people it helps them a lot better
What a
than
dweeb.
others. Yeah,
Those
I
people
know.
are
It's
probably
just
like rich right now.
yeah, exactly. They probably have their own businesses. Their time management's probably so much better than me, and I'm making fun of them.
Oh, yeah.
It's just nice. It's like a relief for your brain. Like, as soon as you write it down, you no longer have to store that in here, because you could look. All you have to remember is, look, instead of what do I have to do.
Yeah.
And it helps a lot.
No.
I've
Speaking
been
of-
trying to do that. I get like thoughts at night of like the future business that I want to do, and I write it down so I don't forget in the morning.
Leather journal.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't used that for a bit. I need to use that. Yeah.
Oh, what a waste of money.
Almost like I said you wouldn't use it.
No, I'm gonna use it. Stop ragging on my journal, boys.
At least use it.
It's my diary, okay?
It's all in good fun.
Anyway. Yeah. But and I know Rumsey's you've been super busy, bro. Like not texting me back busy. Like,
So that
and no,
helps.
no fault to
that,
you.
That doesn't change anything.
Well, it's not really his fault. Like he's genuinely like busy.
I just mean he doesn't answer us anyway.
I have a couple lessons that I've learned, like pretty significant lessons, and yeah, that's one of them. I'm really busy,
Did you
so
write it
having the
down?
calendar has helped so much. But also another lesson is don't take on more than you can handle.
Yeah.
I
Like-
feel like you definitely have. Yeah,
like
you have
wearing-
these past few weeks.
Like wearing 4 different hats at work at a new place, and then also stuff outside of work. Like it's
I have
a
a couple
lot.
more hats. Should I put them on?
No.
Just put all.
I saw your dumbass looking around.
I know. I couldn't tell if he was confused by the analogy or if he had some idea in his
I
brain.
was like,
I've known him too long. I knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah, it is important not to wear yourself out because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're just going to stress out and you're not going to have enough time to do anything that you enjoy and just relax, you know, like be present. You're going to be stressed and worried about what's next. And if you didn't write it down, then you're going to be stressed even more because you know you have to do something, but you don't remember what. And yeah,
it's funny because we always try and talk about going back to previous episodes, and we literally just talked about that in the last one. Was when you're starting, you know, your own kind of side business or side hustle, and making sure you don't overextend yourself. But that goes to say the same for even at your own job. If you take on too many responsibilities at work, it kind of becomes the same idea.
Yeah.
It's important to just like look out for yourself and give yourself that like self-love sometimes. I know personally, one of my lessons throughout the year, similar to like just overworking and just like trying to manage that, is like I always felt that to just like live a healthy life, you should try and be as productive as possible as often as like you can throughout an entire day. And then I'd find myself where I'm just like sitting on the couch or playing video games or something, and like mentally I'd just be like, why am I doing this? Why am I being lazy? Why am I not doing something else? And I think it's important just to allow yourself to have those moments and just mentally just give yourself that self-love and just be like, no, it's okay if I'm just going to sit down and watch Netflix for a little while.
You kind of find value. You found value in productivity.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I've caught myself doing that a lot too, is like, why am I not editing photos right now? Why am I not doing the podcast right now? Why am I not doing something productive? And it's like, dude, remember what it's like to relax. Like, take a moment. Take a day. Who cares? Yeah, take a day. But that is important. I've done that a lot recently, and that is a really big point. And I think as you get older, because you've probably been doing that for years, and it's like this cultural, I don't know. It's like a cultural thing, is that we grind and grind and grind, and at the end of the day, when you get older, it's like, shit, that wasn't healthy. I may have gotten somewhere with it. I may have not. But it definitely took a toll, and I need to learn how to relax again. And so that's important to keep in mind.
It's all about that.
Boys. Allergies are bad.
Work, relax, balance.
Yeah.
And everyone's different too. It's really easy to like look at these hugely successful and productive people, and it's like, oh, these people work like 18 hours a day. They sleep like 4 hours, and it's just like, how do they do stuff like that? Maybe I should be able to do stuff like that, but everyone's different, and you don't have to. We've talked about like role models before, and it's like you don't have to emulate other people. It's like, yeah, you can take little bits and pieces of their life and try and learn from it, but you don't have to beat yourself up over it just because you're not as productive as someone else.
Yeah. Right. I thought when you started that, I kind of thought you were going to roll into something a little different when you were talking about the self-love thing. And that actually kind of set me up a little bit for one of the big ones that I wanted to talk about for over the past year that I've learned. And I think it's something that's really helped me push myself forward. And it's that as much as I do like to help other people, it's also important that you put yourself first. And that was something that I didn't really do for a long time, where my bigger concern was for, oh, well, if I don't do this, then my coworker will have to do that. Or if I don't do this, then someone else will have to do that. And then after a while, it becomes just a matter of I'm just doing everything for everyone else, and I'm not doing anything for me. And, that's not healthy. It's not good. It doesn't help. At the end of the day, it doesn't help you get anywhere. And I was at a point where I wasn't going anywhere. I was kind of just stuck and stagnant, and a lot of that was because I was worried about the other people around me. And I finally, we talked about it with the bus guys, because I had kind of like a big realization moment with them. And I was like, I need to do this for me. I need to do things for me. And then that was just one thing I think in general this podcast helped me realize over the past year, was like, as much as it's important to help others, and as much as that's what we're here to do, you can't help others if you don't help yourself first.
Exactly.
And it's not selfish either. It's
No,
like you
yeah,
have to put yourself in front of others at times.
Exactly. And that's what I did. And, for those of you who know, I quit my job and I got a new job and a new career. And I've been doing that about a month now, and I love it. And it's a big move forward for me. And, there was something I needed to do. And I think without this podcast, without meeting those guys out in Montana, it's like something I wouldn't have done. And, I don't know where I'd be now, but I wouldn't be in the same place. And I'm like so much happier and so much better off for it. And I feel like I'm now in a position where I can help other people out without undermining myself.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you realize you were kind of stagnant, and it kind of opened your eyes. And you're like, I'm not happy. I'm stagnant. It's something I'm not very passionate about. There's really no room for me to grow unless I go back to school or get certs, which isn't a bad thing. But it's not what you wanted to do. And then this opportunity presented itself to you, and, I mean, you hit the wall. You hit the ground running. Hit the wall. Yeah. What the hell?
You hit the wall running. Wow,
you're
wall.
really
jumped
fast.
over the wall.
I'm fast as fuck,
Broke
boy.
through the wall.
Yeah. But I'm proud of you for doing that, man. That did take guts, and it's important to realize that too. So maybe if anyone's listening and you feel stagnant, don't be afraid to take that leap. Like, find something you enjoy and pursue it. Life's short, as we talked about. You take Jared's advice and write stuff down. Write what your next little goal is. Write what you need to do to get there, and do it. Take that step. I think one of the things throughout this year that I have really held near and dear to my heart is being positive, being a positive person. I know our first episode, I said don't take things for granted was my biggest point. And that holds true. It does. But I think being positive makes you not take things for granted. So just like waking up, being positive, not like being pissed off at the world. And honestly, I was pretty pissed off at the world all the way until we took that trip to Montana, and it was just like the biggest mental reset I've ever had, and it just like totally reoriented my life, and it felt great. And since then, I'm just like a positive person. Maybe not to you guys all the time, but I think I'm getting better. Season 3, we also took the hiatus from the podcast, so it's all about, like, Talon's point is making sure you take care of yourself first. Like, if you're getting stressed out, take a break. Like, it's okay to do that. We did that for 2 weeks from the podcast because we were all stressed out, like, trying to match schedules. Personalities were like clashing a little bit just because, like, we're all over the place, and like we need to reel it in, remember why we were doing this, and take a break. Like, if we're not all happy.
One of Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life is treat yourself like you're like someone you're responsible for taking care of.
Yeah.
I think that plays into this really well.
So just, like remaining happy, positive, enjoying what you're doing. I mean, everybody's points can be tied into this one overarching point, is just try to remain positive. And if you're around people that bring you down and negativity, there's no need for that. Like, you can live without them because that's draining. Like, if they're close friends, maybe distance it a little bit or speak to them. The first thing to do would be clear communication, right? Like, hey,
Something
you're
else
really stressing me out. Yeah, like, this is very stressful for me. Like, I want to be there for you, but it's draining me, and I need to take a step back to take care of myself right now. And it's huge.
I just want to comment on that because you actually brought up a really good point. So I'm listening to the audiobook, The 4-Hour Work Week right now, and that's actually one of the, I can't remember what, it's something's law, and it's actually like normally it's like 80% of work only gives you like 20% of the results, and 20% of work gives you 80% of the results. And that goes into almost every aspect of your life, and that goes into even your friends and everything. Like you said, sometimes you have to cut certain people out of your life because it's the same thing. About 20% of your friends gives you 80% of your stress. Yep. And you need to focus on, sometimes you just need to, like you said, just communicate with some people. You're not trying to be a bad person, but like if someone's just stressing you out all the time and they're not a good friend and they're not helping you grow as a person, sometimes you just have to talk to them and just be like, hey, this isn't a healthy relationship. It's just like sometimes you just have to cut ties, or maybe they need to work on themselves to help work with you. So I think that's something that some people really need to understand, especially because like Randy was just talking about trying to please other people. It's really hard to get past that, and especially if you're close to someone, or at least you think that you're close to someone, it's really hard to break that bond, even though it's the healthy thing to do.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I was
called
actually just gonna say that too, because I know like we talked in the group not too long ago about a situation that I had similarly with that, and I think that was one of those points where I got so carried away trying to help someone else that it was causing me like mental anguish and stress, and it was getting to the point where it wasn't healthy for me because I was trying so hard to help them.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And I just Googled it. It's called Pareto's rule, the 80-20 rule. And it applies, like, just think about it. And it applies to almost every single aspect of your life.
What book were you listening to?
It's the 4-Hour Work Week.
And that was
And
on
how
what?
were you listening to it?
Oh, it was on Audible, which you guys can also experience the 4-Hour Work Week for 30 days if you click on the description.
For free for 30 days.
There's,
Down
there's also
Description below.
in the description.
there's also the 80-20
$3.99.
principle, which I know is a pretty popular book.
Oh, so it talks about the same thing?
Yeah.
I bet
Yeah,
that's on
nice.
Audible too.
I bet.
Well,
So
it's
click
gotta
the
be.
link and go
Oh.
do it.
Yeah. Go look. Yeah, so
yeah. But
that's go ahead, Joe.
But okay, I wanted to like speak on that communication point actually, because recently I have acquired a girlfriend. If y'all were unaware, anyway,
Congrats.
So I've been taking all the notes that we've been accumulating all over our relationship episodes, and I've been applying all of them. Communication being a big one. For example, so she came to me, and she's older. It's awesome, and
It's
like,
awesome.
So she knows what it's awesome. She knows what she wants, and she's very she'll speak on it with no filter. And so she told me that she wasn't fond of one of my friends, and I know, right? A little bit of drama, but we communicated about it. We literally just talked. It was super nice. I told her that, you know, this person was a very close friend of mine. I've known her for a while, and she wouldn't have to. So my girlfriend was getting a little bit, I guess, jealous or just skeptical of her. And I told her, hey, look, nothing will ever happen between us. It's literally just friendship, which is hard to say. We're just friends.
She's the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I've known her for so long, and I'm not going to be able to just throw away a friendship just to go out with you. You know, it sucks to say, but kind of like trying to just build a trusting, being open with each other and just communicating about it. It was really nice. I think it was the first time I've actually ever done that with like a girl, kind of just having that open, hard conversation, and we've had a few of those now.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think
so
that's a
it's been
sign
pretty
of
awesome.
maturity, one would say.
I know.
Yeah, it's mature and healthy to be able to talk about that. I mean, some people, if their girlfriend told them that, maybe they would just like, they probably wouldn't even say anything. They would just dwell on it, and just, it could turn into a hateful kind of mental feeling and everything at some point. So at least you guys were able to talk about it.
Yeah, so I
flip.
think we could almost argue that season 2 was kind of about communication, because that was kind of like a running theme throughout season 2. And that was something we talked about a lot, and I think that's something definitely you could say you took away from all of that, because that is tough to do in a situation where you have someone who's now your significant other telling you they don't like one of your friends who you're close with, and now you have to resolve that. And that's hard. And I know like some people that I know can be very stubborn about that particular aspect. So that can be a really tough thing to have to deal with. So good for you, Joe.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
I just wanted to note that when you were talking, you said that you were taking the advice and like listening to our relationship episodes and stuff. And like when you said that, I just imagined you just listening to the episodes and just taking notes. Yes, good information.
Write that down. Write that down.
She's like, hey, I'm really not a fan of your friend. 1 second. What would we do?
That's hilarious. Hey, it works.
That's
That's
good.
what the whole point of
That's
this
good
is.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, right?
And that's why we're here, and that's what we're doing. And I think
Yeah.
I think we can say that hopefully we've learned at least just as much as all of you listening have, if not more. Probably more, because we're in it.
Yeah. We're doing it live.
We learn from each other so much. I've learned so much from Talon about finances. and
Yeah, just
Jared
having these
about
weekly
just-
talks helps so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude, think
Yeah.
about if, like, going back, like, and I know this is kind of a little bit of a tangent, but I think it's good to be said. Without doing this, I don't think I would have ever gotten a credit card. I don't think I ever
Thank
would have.
God.
I wouldn't have.
Thank
I didn't
God
see
we're
the
here.
value in it. But I wasn't educated on it. I don't think I would have done that. I don't think I would have invested in the stock market. And now, like, I've actually made a good amount of money on that, which is nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And that's the
Um,
first year.
You know, and and that's the first year. And, you know, I can say pretty definitively, like, definitely the stock market and probably the credit card, I would not have put much stock into, no pun intended, had I not done this podcast. So,
I hate you so much. Speaking of clear communications and having to cut people out, I hate you.
hey. Okay.
And I meant to hit it.
Yeah.
Hey, I
so-
got there's another lesson from that I learned like yesterday.
Oh boy.
Yeah, funny
we got?
enough. So first, I guess I should start off with I started reading a book again. I read it like 3 years ago.
I love that book.
Extreme Ownership. Such a good book.
Were you part of
By-
the book club for it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Jocko Willink and Leif Babin.
You guys didn't tell me about this book you both enjoy. What the hell?
You weren't part of the book club? It was like a book club at work. And
I know I
almost-
was, but I missed that one. That's
Oh.
right. Red Leaders.
That was
Eat
the
Last.
first.
Oh,
That was the
man.
first one.
Damn it.
Yeah, this was the first
You
one.
weren't part of the book club, nerd.
I know.
What a loser.
We were trying to like teach people how to be leaders and stuff like that in the book club. Yeah.
Damn it.
It didn't
Yeah, so-
last. It didn't
I-
last.
No, but I mean, we got these books for free, so that
Yeah.
was nice. So I just started reading this again, and ironically enough, yesterday I was faced with a situation where I could practice extreme ownership, because without going into too much detail, so I organized the training days for our squadron, and in the directions with the schedule, I told all of the like lead instructors basically at the squadron that, you know, another organization needs these details for training to see like how the students are showing up to the flight phase of training. Do we need to change anything? Do we need to add anything? Stuff like that. But in the email, I only put get this information to me after your breakout sessions. So, I mean, it was in bold letters. However, I didn't follow up with an email, and I didn't give an exact deadline. So yesterday I sent out an email and I said, hey, this is due by the end of the day. And then I got some responses of people saying, you know, they didn't know this was a thing and everything like that. And then I referenced the old email and I was furious. You know, when I saw those responses, I was like, guys, it's been a week and a half. Like, you're all leaders. How can you not follow directions? So I was furious and I started like typing up a response. And then I sat there. I'm like, this guy's higher ranking than me. And I'm like yelling at him in this email. I was venting to my supervisor who was sitting across from me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a second. I'm going to walk outside, sit in my car. I'm going to detach emotionally from the situation. And I'm going to come back to it. I sat in my car for 2 minutes and I'm like, it's my fault, you know? So I went back and I explained to my supervisor how I thought it was my fault taking extreme ownership, and saying, you know, I didn't give these guys a reminder email after the event. And also in the email, whether they saw it or not, I didn't give a suspense date. So it's my fault. So I sent out a follow-up email and told everyone, hey, I didn't realize, you know, I should have sent out a reminder email. Just get this information to me at your earliest convenience. So there's one of my lessons, and I didn't realize it, but it's also a lesson that I learned earlier this year when I got in trouble that whole incident. And we have an episode on that if you want to look at that up. Yeah.
Resiliency.
Yeah,
I think that's
extreme
a very
ownership
significant lesson, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not jump into conclusions when you might be in the wrong. Sometimes you get so heated and realizing or thinking that you're right, and you just start going after someone for something that you think that they're responsible for. And, taking that break, just like you said, and coming back, you're like, I definitely could have done something different to not put us in this position.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I might have to read that book now, actually. That's
a
huge one.
Man, I now that I'm reading this, I'm having the thoughts like all day, like even while driving, I'm like, man, I'm just getting pissed off at everyone because Omaha drivers,
You gotta remain positive, bro.
And I'm like, you know what? I can't. How can you live life trying to blame everyone for everything? Like, take some ownership for it.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? I could have done something differently, or I could have reacted to this person's negative comments better.
Yeah.
I could have been more tactful. Like, once you start taking ownership for things, I think it helps the whole situation.
I think that's something that I've always been pretty good about. But just in my experience from what I've seen, like, own up to your mistakes, because number one, the people who are above you are going to respect you more for it at the end of the day. If you come to them up front and say like, hey, listen, I screwed up. I did this. And especially now for me, just because the job line that I'm in, like, my mistake can literally kill somebody, or like literally end somebody's career. Like, there's so much dangerous stuff that we work with every single day. And it's super important to be accountable. And if you make a mistake, it's good for you. It's like you have to come forward and say, listen, that's on me. I made that mistake. Because at the end of the day, you're not helping anybody by trying to pass the blame or just trying to make it seem like you didn't do it. And, people will respect you more for it. And you could literally be hurting someone's career or ending their life. I've found that you're going to get found out anyway if you screw up. Like,
time.
One way or another roundabout, it's going to come back and bite you if you're not upfront about it. So just be upfront about it. Like, if you make a mistake, it is what it is. Like, people make mistakes. We're humans. We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect 100% of the time. Just own up to it. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. It's a waste of time and energy just like thinking about how someone else screwed up, or like, I mean, like, Jared, you eventually realized like, hey, I could have done this better. Like, if you just sat there and just blamed other people, you wouldn't have learned anything. You wouldn't have improved for the next time. And even just thinking about something like driving, if everyone can have that extreme ownership, next time, instead of like maybe you accidentally cut some car off, you like wave at them like kind of like trying to apologize, instead of like be like, oh, it's because they're speeding or something. Like,
they wouldn't let me over.
Yeah, there's no reason to blame others. If everyone has this extreme ownership, they can learn so much from every experience that they have, instead of just blaming others all the time. It's just a waste of time and energy, and there's no point.
As long as you remain positive, life is good, man. You could own it positively, and like you're golden, man. You're happy. Like, yeah, I could have done that better. And like, let people know that, and don't just don't dwell on stuff negatively.
Take ownership and come up with a solution.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like driving is the only exception of where I will always blame others.
Maybe leave earlier, and then you
Yeah.
won't have to speed.
There's no reason to do 10 under in the left lane of a major
guys,
highway.
All right, tangents. No more tangents. But,
But taking ownership and then coming up with a solution. It's not like, taking ownership doesn't mean that you're just hard on yourself and you just put yourself down. It's not like, oh man, I suck because of the way I responded to that situation. Like, it's about finding a solution, and it's about learning your habits, even like in new environments, learning how to operate more efficiently. And also
Taking
just like,
responsibility.
So you can work better with your team too. So your team doesn't constantly resent you, and so they actually enjoy working with you.
Right. So
Yeah.
so a year, man, a year in this podcast. We've all been through a lot, and it's been a fun ride. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah.
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 Yes,
Yeah.
it's been a lot.
Without a doubt.
You know, different personalities, like I mentioned before. Like it's interesting. Like we all think differently. Maybe I feel like I'm the outlier in the group because I was always stressed, and I think you guys can attest that since I've been back, I've been better, and then since that hiatus, I feel way better. Like I'm not stressing about things as much. And
You're
I think,
glowing.
well, I don't know about
I think that's the
Thank-
light.
that. Yeah.
Solid lighting.
But no, I think just you gotta remain happy. You gotta take all of these points into consideration, and I think we learn that as we go. And to Randy's point, without the podcast for the past year, I don't think any of us would have grown as much as we did. And I think it speaks a lot to what we're doing here, and I'm super grateful for having this idea and having this for 53, I guess, weeks straight of therapy sessions. Like it's great.
All right, everyone, this has been Lessons Learned. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, hit us up. Let us know if you want us to cover a topic or if you have a situation you want us to talk about. We don't even have to record it, but we can discuss it within ourselves and get an answer to you.
Yep.
And let us know what you thought of this episode. All right.
Sweet.
Until next time, we'll see ya.
See you.